EXO My Cyberlove, the first full album by Chuu, for better and for worse at times, takes an extremely nuanced approach to artificial intelligence, and I would say that nuance is at sometimes a strength and at other times such a huge question mark. I'm talking about intoxicating levels of nuance to the point where I don't really know what the message is half of the time. In interviews leading up to this release, AI was the central talking point. Chuu described the title track as a love story told from the perspective of artificial intelligence, and the album then becomes an extension of that idea. EXO My Cyberlove is a kind of case study on love as it exists today, the blending of what is real and what is virtual, where your digital presence online and human emotion are constantly overlapping. In an interview with YEPPEUGAE, Chuu mentioned that before recording the title track, she watched the film I, Robot in order to emotionally immerse herself in how a robot or AI might understand humanity and human emotions. I think that's a good reference point to better build some scaffolding around the album's premise. I, Robot is a movie deeply concerned with whether artificial beings can exhibit human emotion without ever fully becoming human. In that same interview, and in the same statement actually, Chuu clarifies the emotional core of this song by saying it's sung from the perspective of AI. Chuu is playing the role of ChatGPT, for example, learning about what love is, but not really being able to internalize it or embody it. The title track develops the understanding that AI's love is something that, quote, can't be fulfilled. I think this explanation is the most crucial to understanding the song. EXO My Cyberlove considers that AI can observe what love is and even begin to imitate it, but it can't truly possess it in the way that humans do, right? Chuu describes this dynamic as, quote, sad but beautiful. The sadness comes from longing, and the beauty maybe comes from closeness or proximity. How close but fundamentally detached AI will always be from the human condition. This is where I think I, Robot becomes such a useful reference point. The film, which was released in 2004, takes a similar kind of nuanced approach to artificial intelligence. It doesn't present AI as inherently good or bad. It suggests something much more complicated than that AI can approximate humanity and even surprise us sometimes with how closely it mirrors emotion and morality, but again, there remains something fundamentally different at its core.
You are just a machine, an imitation of life. Can a robot write a symphony? Can a robot turn a canvas into a beautiful masterpiece? Can you?
From that perspective, EXO My Cyberlove is both pro-AI and also anti-AI in some ways. I don't really know. Like, once we accept that the song understands AI love as unfulfillable, what exactly is the narrative endpoint supposed to be? Is the story simply that artificial intelligence can't love the way that humans do? And if that's the case, I don't know, what is the purpose of telling it this way? What are we meant to sit with after the song ends? Is it about the tragedy of AI's limitations or the beauty of its attempt? I don't think the song wants to resolve that. It doesn't work towards any kind of resolution in that way, and I think maybe that's intentional. Maybe EXO My Cyberlove just wants to offer a way to explore what love looks like when it's stripped of embodiment, love as an unbiased and objective observation. But doesn't love begin to lose so much meaning in that context? EXO My Cyberlove doesn't clearly say anything. It simply just presents the idea that AI can't love in the way that humans do. And funnily enough, the song as an end product actually does feel like something AI would produce. We can make it very meta in that sense. It's a love song that has absolutely no bite to it. There's nothing in the way I process this song, at least on first impression, that feels tangible or believable. So conceptually, EXO My Cyberlove is produced and written in a way that appears AI generated and can't really resolve itself emotionally because it doesn't know how to. That's kind of the point, right? The question then becomes, would Chuu actually do something like this intentionally? I think I could answer that with yes. She mentioned in another interview with YEPPEUGAE that she uses AI programs frequently to do things like checking her horoscope. If I could superficially connect all of the dots together, based on what Chuu has said in interviews, I would say EXO My Cyberlove represents the dynamic of someone like Chuu who desires to love people and things with every fiber of her being, kind of looking for that same connection with the AI programs she uses. Chuu begins to identify that AI simply can't approximate the kind of love that she has to give, and this song and album as an extension of that is an observation of this dynamic. AI doesn't possess the kind of love she's looking for, but there is something meaningful within its attempt that Chuu identifies as, quote, sad but beautiful. I don't know that this will resonate with everyone, even for those who are completely comfortable with AI, or at ease with its growing presence in everyday life. I'm not sure I understand what the song ultimately wants to do even for those people. What is the emotional destination here? What are we meant to carry with us after the song ends? The song gestures, narratively, but especially vocally, towards something so impossibly tender, tracing the outline of what love is without ever getting to experience it. EXO My Cyberlove uses playful synths and a steady thumping pop rhythm to create a wistful soundscape that matches its romantic story of an AI program or an AI model trying to understand what love is. We have these sparkling melodies and soft electronic textures that move us forward gently as Chuu works vocally to bring warmth to the track. Her delivery carries a palpable sense of curiosity. Each line feels like this AI model's new attempt to define an emotion she can describe easier than she can feel, right? I would say the line, quote, "I want to hug and kiss you," breaks out of the frame in particular with a raised inflection, and certainly sounds like something a robot would observe or approximate about love. Chuu, as a vocalist, of course, has such a sweet tone and careful phrasing that makes the narrator of the song feel earnest and slightly, I guess, tentative about everything being discussed, which fits the idea of love being something studied rather than fully understood or fully known. I think altogether, the simple and clean production with Chuu's expressive vocals help the song achieve its purpose, or what I understand to be its purpose, presenting love through the lens of a digital mind. Quote, mind, I guess. You know, AI can't feel the way that we do, and maybe that's okay. Kind of a weird place to leave something that spends so much time circling topics and tones of longing. But maybe the song isn't trying to argue anything at all. Maybe it is only interested in staging a vibe, the romance of approximation, of almost achieving something that in the end was never actually going to be in your reach. I don't know. As a full album, it ultimately lands as a confident and I would say worthwhile chapter in Chuu's solo catalog for all it has to bring. EXO My Cyberlove works so well to highlight what already makes her artistry feel most compelling, right? Tracks like Oh My Gosh, Canary stand out as proof of how naturally she carries songs built on emotional specificity and narrative textures, while other songs like Cocktail Dress and Hide and Seek help broaden the palette, sketching out the range of tones and concepts that she's capable of inhabiting. To get a little constructive, I think where the project feels less essential is its overt flirtation with trend-driven pop, which Chuu executes fine without challenge. It's not hard for her, but I think the cost of following musical trends a little too closely is a loss of identity or momentum that defines her strongest material. I think in that light, and on first impression, Only Cry in the Rain still reads to me as the more cohesive and impactful statement, especially given how vividly its title track framed the album's world. EXO My Cyberlove, by comparison, feels designed, like intentionally designed to deliver less of an emotional impact. I don't really know why that is, outside of the AI perspective. Even so, the album does succeed in reaffirming Chuu's potential. When she leans into songs that demand character and wit and vulnerability, she has the potential to truly bring it. That balance between exploration and refinement does make this project feel like maybe a thoughtful step to the side rather than a step forward. Yeah, in the future, I'm hoping for a project that feels a little bit more defined in its intentions. I think Chuu deserves that. We could also just move away from the AI stuff altogether. Let's really just change the subject, please. Thank you for watching this. If you did, my favorite songs right now are, I think number one would be Cocktail Dress. Tone and conviction and melody and writing all flow together so nicely here. There's a great sense of momentum through this song, and as a result of that has such great character to it. It's about making decisions for yourself with reckless abandon. The song musically captures that feeling even before the lyrics do. I think this would have been a great single. Number two is Teeny Tiny Heart. Insanely great instrumental, and similar to Kiss a Kitty from the previous album, this is the kind of witty but still heartfelt delivery Chuu really thrives with. Number three, Heart Tea Bag, a spiritual successor to Only Cry in the Rain. I believe this song develops a similar narrative to Calling Upon the Rain as a way of letting the emotions flow through you, right? Chuu compares her own heart to a tea bag in this way. The gloominess of rain brings about the bad feelings, but as a tea bag needs the water in order to function, there's something, I guess, inherent about addressing the bad feelings in order to fight them and move on. To have the tea, so to speak. What? Number four is Canary. So poetic and definitely the de facto vocal display on this album. This song more than any showcases the genuinely, at times insane extent to which Chuu can convey such distinct emotions through tone. So amazing. Number five is Hide and Seek. Yeah, Hide and Seek. Really just a playful amalgamation of what all Chuu has to bring as a performer. Fun and witty, lyrically smart, a recipe for success. Very, very excellent music all around. But let me know what you think about this. Your understanding or interpretation of the title track, the album's concept, how the album succeeds in your opinion, and things like that. Thanks again for watching. Subscribe if you want to, and I will see you next time.